All right. No burping.
No burping.
So, should be rolling here in just a moment. So I've got a few. I got a few songs. I think I've got like 5. And,
Okay.
my cheese factor's not super high on these, but...
This Ram Truck Month, we recognize it takes a modern marvel to make one. Trucks with the best towing. 3.5 tons more than the competition.
Bad, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I could hear it too.
I'm looking at mine, and mine's a Wingstop ad.
Oh, yeah, mine's a truck of some sort.
Yeah, it was a truck. Hi, Tim. Home again, jiggity jig. Text my wife real quick. Okay, got that taken care of. All right.
All right, do I look better now? I turned on my fill light there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny, it actually helps kind of clean up your picture a little bit. And I noticed you still haven't tried to use the DSLR.
No, it's been nutty around here.
Oh, don't even talk to me about nutty.
Yeah, I know. I have no excuses compared to you.
I mean, maybe if your dog was in the hospital with appendicitis, you could say something, but
No.
do dogs even have appendixes?
I don't know. But you remember the problem of which of my past at your house that I always allude to?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure my dog had that same problem yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So yes, I had an interesting day. So yeah, not fun at all.
Ugh.
But she seems to be doing better now. But yesterday was not fun.
Good deal. Alrighty.
So there are a few little news bits, nothing major, but
Okay.
I do have the Haste the Day news stuff pulled up and a couple other little tidbits that we can run over, but I'm not going to copy and paste them because there really isn't enough to bother.
Okay. Well, I'll just have you run down the news bits then,
Okay.
and we can discuss them.
We can discuss.
We can discuss. We can.
We'll be like, looky there. Looky what that done band done did.
Son of a gun. I can't believe them boys did that.
You just never know what they's gonna do.
Oh, man.
If we get any random people who just saw the Hootsuite thing that I sent out, if any of them start watching about that time, which I kind of doubt, they're going to be like, what the crap is this?
Yeah. Those boys done gone crazy.
They done gone crazy. Look at us. We're sounding like we're trying to be in Family Force 5 all of a sudden.
Yeah, cray.
Yeah, it's cray.
Watch me hit the cray button. So when I went and saw Toby Mac, Tim's like, hey, I remembered to tune in today. I wondered where he was last week. So when I went and saw Toby Mac, the Capital Kings was the opener.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually did their own little rendition of Cray Button.
Oh, nice.
So it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Very cool.
They seem like a pretty decent group of guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Pretty
And
cool.
also, I didn't put it in for this week's Noistrade discovery, but for next week, I'm going to. I've got a new kind of electronic artist that I'm going to sport that I think will be good.
Yeah, Kirk kind of called you on the carpet a little bit. He's like, dude, how come
What
you're
happened?
Or no, was it Kirk or was it Michael? I don't remember. One of them called you on the carpet and was like, hey, what happened to the Noistrade things?
Those were cool.
So it's like once you introduce something, you got to stay on top of it.
Right. Wow.
Slacker.
Well, I'm sorry, people. What most of you probably don't know is Chris and I pull together like everything new for this show, usually the morning of.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're looking at your clock, you realize how early that means we were up and how
West
coherent we
Coast
probably
time.
were.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with everything going on with me this week, it just, it was one of the things that I knew was going to be like. I mean, honestly, we thought Becca was still going to be in the hospital today.
Yeah.
So for her to have come home yesterday, it was like the perfect timing for all of that to happen, because then I didn't have to worry about dealing with anything today. So, that's just kind of where it stands. So I'm glad she's home, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about all the other garbage, and I can just come up and record and be done with it.
Right. Ooh.
So did I tell you about the ticket I got at the Toby Mac concert?
Yes, you did.
So I sent in an appeal,
right,
asking them to waive the fine or whatever. And they say, based on the fact that this is your only citation and the statement you have provided, as a one-time exception, our office will dismiss the citation outside of a formal review upon receipt of the $8 daily parking fee in lieu of the original fine amount. Please remember in the future that purchase of a permit or payment at a meter is required Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. during the academic year, and from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the summer. If you wish to pay the reduced amount indicated above, in order to have the citation dismissed, please submit a check. And so because they're allowing this, I actually have to mail them a check. I can't do it online like I would have been able to just pay the fine. But you're talking $8 versus $45.
Right, yeah.
And the cost of a stamp. I think I will be mailing... I think I'll be mailing that check out today or tomorrow.
Right.
So... let me see. Nashville was good. Country. Oh yeah, I had a feeling country would be the predominant music in Nashville. So, well, are we ready there, Paulie?
As far as I know.
Tom says I must suffer from bumpkinophobia. No, it's called having a mom that was born and raised in Indiana, and bluegrass is the only thing she considers real music.
Right.
That's my problem. All right.
That does get in the way.
Yeah. Okay, so let us pull up our DAW.
Doll.
And I actually have to hit the button to tell it what channel I want it to record onto. And let me see. I need to change a preference real quick. Oh,
You don't get to change your preference.
I don't?
No.
No. You must
No change for you.
You must do what I say. Okay, so hit record in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Rock in a Hard Place podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Chris Cooner. I am a DJ with Broken FM. If you would like, and if you happen to be a fan of Christian rock, you can check us out online at broken.fm. Joining me today is my friend, my colleague. Well, he's just an all-around great guy. His name is Paul Gibson.
What up, my people? Yes, this is Paul Gibson. I know your wildest dreams have indeed come true. And I host the Christian Rock 20 Countdown. No longer the Christian Music Archive, which makes me a little sad just because I miss feeling like I have that one other thing on my resume, as much as it was fun, too. But anyway, so if you want more info, check out thechristianrock20.com. And if you want a wristband to go to Red Letter Rock Fest, which doesn't exist anymore from 2009, well, then you can't have it. It's mine. It's a memento. So anyway.
I'm still waiting on my Family Force 5 finger rings that you promised me a long time ago.
I've still got them. They're right up here on my shelf.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, here we go.
You keep telling me that it's coming, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, wow.
You haven't been back by to stay at my house, so.
Yes, well, that's just the way things go.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna have to give up my brass knuckles, then that may just not happen. You never know. So.
It looks like it's made for little kids. It didn't look like you could even get it much past your first knuckle.
Yes, this is true, but beside the point.
Oh, man. Well, what do we got news-wise, Paul? I know we talked a little bit. Haste the Day we talked about a few weeks ago. They had kind of a website, but that was really I almost said anonymous, but that's not what I mean. Ominous. So what did we find out about what's actually going on with Haste the Day?
Okay, so the deal is on May 2nd of next year, not this year.
So 2015.
Oh, wait, no. I'll take it back. May 2nd of 2014. Sorry.
That would be this year.
It's mistyped somewhere in this story, so I apologize. But yes, of this year, not next year.
Right.
Goofuses. Anyway, they are going to be playing a reunion show, which will celebrate the 10th anniversary of their debut Solid State album, Burning Bridges, and will feature the original lineup. And it will also have Still Remains and Abolisher on the bill. And I think they had a couple of EPs and maybe like an independent. Let me see here. Yeah, they had an EP, and then their second album on Solid State also had the same lineup. So they're going to have they're only going to be performing songs off of those 3 records. But anyway, so if you happen to live in Indianapolis, Indiana, well, then you're in luck. And if you don't, well, then you either have a really long drive or you are totally out of luck. So
now, when you say the original lineup, how many lineups has Haste the Day gone through? Do you have any idea?
I don't know exactly. I do know that the lead singer and I think at least one guitarist and maybe the drummer got switched out, but I could be wrong. I never was a big enough fanatical fan to be able to like name off members. I do know that their lead singers were very different. They sounded pretty much the same, but I mean, they were different guys. So yeah, that switched after their second album, but so they're doing a reunion show, and then apparently they've announced since then that they're going to be playing in Mexico City at a festival down there, I think maybe later this summer.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
That's kind of cool.
Cool.
But, it's one of those things where you always wonder if that's going to lead to more than just that, but I would tend to doubt it, but it could. You never know.
Well, and that's the thing about bands is you never really know what it's going to entail. They call it quits one week, and then, a week later, oh, well, we decided that we really wanted to stay together and keep doing stuff. So that's exactly what they do. It's really hard to say. No one is ever permanently out of the music business, it seems. It's always kind of floating around there. You never know when a band is going to get back together. When I went and saw Toby Mac a couple of weeks ago, one of the questions, of course, was, when is DC Talk getting back together? And Toby he put his head down. He's like, almost like, I'm so tired of this question. Right. And we'll do it when the time is right. I can't say that it'll be next year. I can't say it'll be the year after that. But he's like, when it's right, we'll do it. He's like, we're all still friends. We text each other, and talk to each other a couple times a week at least. Nice. So he's like, it's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And right now we don't know when is. And the guy that was on stage with him is like, but Michael said it was going to happen. And Toby's like, yeah, like I said, it's a matter of when. We just don't know when that is.
Well, and it's so funny for, I think, us to sit back and think, for the most part, like, oh, well, there's so much time. But I keep on having to remind myself, dude just turned 50.
Yeah.
It's not like they're in their 30s and it's like, oh, we have so much time to make this happen. To me, I feel like more than likely they probably have another 10 years in them collectively between the three before they really just want to quit. doing music entirely, or at least maybe just become like producers or songwriters or something. Because I'm sorry, after you hit that 60 mark, there's a huge fall off. You don't
Right.
see much being done.
Right.
So I
Well,
don't know.
and the shows definitely aren't as lively as they once were because they just don't have the ability to be dancing and prancing all over the place, and be able to manage it. And I mean, of the three, Michael is the only one who's still single. I mean, both Toby and Kevin are married with children. Toby said he's got 5 kids now.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's absolutely insane. It was neat, though. Somebody asked him how he juggled tour life and all of that with family, and he said that he tries to never be gone more than 4 days.
Wow,
Now,
that's impressive.
Yeah, totally. This tour was an exception because they'd been on 10 days. He has a max rule, he has a max rule, like if they're ever going to schedule a tour, the max that he could ever be gone is 10 days. This tour had him gone 11, and it was an exception that he discussed with his wife beforehand to make sure that they were okay with all of that. And, of course, he's got an iPhone and FaceTime and all of that, so he's always talking to his kids, checking in on them and all of that, seeing how they're doing. But he said normally the way that it works for him is he travels 4 and he's off 3. Then he goes back and travels 4 and he's off 3. So that's typically his tour schedule, how it works. And then he said when he's at home, he goes to the studio at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's home by 6, and they're eating dinner around the family table at 6:30. That's like important for him. So he's like, I'm special in the way that I have the ability to have this set up. He said not a lot of artists have the ability to be where I am and to be able to do those things. But he's like, for him, it's very important to be able to be home with his family. That's his priority.
Gotcha.
So,
that's cool.
It was.
For sure.
It was really neat to see and hear him kind of talk about it like that. So it was very cool.
Nice.
What else do we have news-wise?
Well, if you're a Blindside fan, there is a new side project that is actually putting out music. There is a new single from the band Lind Forest, and it's Lindforest, and it's one word. And it features Christian, the lead singer from Blindside, and also Simon Grenadhead. Sure, Simon from Blindside. Now, this is really going to get you going. They have a new video, and they have the song. Now, I believe the song is in Swedish, based on the title is Din dag du faller ner.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're a big fan of Blindside, maybe you want to check out their side project, you can do that. Once again, they're called Lind Forest.
Awesome.
So that's fun stuff.
Yeah, I've heard the name before, but I had not. Yeah. I haven't actually heard any of their songs.
Yeah, and as I understand it, if you watch the video for it, at least there is a video version that has English subtitles, so you can understand what they're saying, which is cool. Which is a good thing. So that's kind of fun. And of course, it wouldn't be a new segment if we did not announce yet another band doing some sort of crowdsourcing to make a new album. The band Quiet Science, who's kind of an indie rock band with some electronic influences, is doing an Indiegogo campaign, and they're doing an electronic worship album. So if you want to get in on that, you can search for Quiet Science on Indiegogo.com.
Cool. I think, was it Quiet Science that came through Broken FM?
That sounds right. I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they were on tour with another band, and they ended up coming through. They're pretty much electronic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are mostly. I would say they're kind of in the vein of, if I remember correctly, in the vein of kind of maybe some of the early stuff by The Killers or like Depeche Mode, stuff kind of like that. But
I want to say, to me, it seems like it was like Quiet Science and the Red Airplanes.
That sounds right. That very easily could have been.
Like
that
the
makes
bill
sense.
that I wasn't there for the show. I was gone or busy or something. I don't know. I couldn't be there, but we had it in the big room at the studio. And I remember we had like 10 people show up, which is typical for shows in this area. Even for free, it's like people don't want to take the time to go out. They've got, shows to catch on TV. I guess they've never heard of a DVR or anything like that.
Or Hulu.
Yeah, whatever the case may be. It's frustrating when you do a free show. You're like, it's free, okay? Free. That means there's no cost except the gas to get over to the venue. How can you pass that up? And they still manage to not come out. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, beat them over the head.
Well, if you haven't picked up the new 5 Iron Fringy.
Fringy?
Your new 5-iron Fringy.
Come get the new
Engine-
5-iron Fringy. It's the best
5-iron
album
Fringy.
ever.
Actually, it's Engine of a Million Plots, but
Yes.
still.
Although the best album ever would fit within their naming scheme sometimes.
Right,
you
it
know?
would.
Yeah.
It would. But anyway, it's only $5 to buy the digital version on Amazon for just a short while. So if you want to do that, and then evidently if you want it on CD, you can get. Of course, you get the digital download included with the CD, so that way you don't have to go through all that effort of importing it through iTunes.
Yeah.
But it's just $8, so they're doing a little sale there, which is pretty cool. And then I think the last thing I've got is Bad Christian, the new label that Emery started, has made their first non-Emery member signing.
Oh, wow.
So they're called King's Kaleidoscope, and I have not heard their stuff yet, but apparently they're releasing an EP that's going to drop on March 18th, which is coming up in just a very short while. And for the first week, it's going to be free, and then after that, it'll be a actual pay for music kind of situation. So anyway, but that's all I got.
Cool. Excellent. Excellent. Well, let's see. We have been fortunate enough to have Tom doing reviews for us, and he sent us a new album review, and so let's check it out.
Now,
All right.
here's something we hope you'll really like.
And a hard place. New music. Embers and Ashes, Killers and Thieves.
Dudes and ladies, meet Embers and Ashes, a 5-piece melodic hard rock band out of Birmingham, Alabama. Their first full-length record, Outsiders, was released on Red Chord Records, and this, their sophomore album, Killers and Thieves, is an independent release which was funded by a successful Indiegogo campaign. Killers and Thieves is a collection of 10 passionate and powerful rock songs, all averaging around the 3.5-minute mark. Embers and Ashes open the album with the right song. Set Fire features blazing guitar and tricks you into thinking you're going to hear a straight-up metal record. But that assumption is corrected when the upper-ranged vocals of Jeremy Bates kick in. Sick guitar riffs and licks abound throughout most of this album. Set Fire, Guide Me Home, 2,000 Miles, and the instrumental Stones to name a few tracks. Regarding Stones, it's pretty rockin' and all that, but while listening to it, I had this crazy feeling that I should be navigating through video game menus, setting up the next death match. Now that might be a weird way of saying it, but that's the vibe of the track to me. Into My Arms, a great original sounding track playing on Christian radio right now, kinda sticks out as not only the best of the bunch, but it's almost like they spent 75% of the time working on the writing, recording, and production of this song, and then finished the rest of the album. Now, I'm not knocking the rest of the album, I'm just saying you can tell with the electronica influences and the production value, a lot of care went into this particular track. The title track, Killers and Thieves, a prayerful mid-tempo with an old-school Cutlass feel, features a classic whoa moment that will really reach its potential at a live concert. The lyrics bear the heart of a broken soul returning to God as Jeremy sings, "Just take me as I am, an empty, heartless man. Hold me in your arms and give me life again. I live for the day when you will call my name. I've got just one wish, just to see your face." Now, Killers and Thieves is more than a positive album with songs about life from a Christian perspective. A lot of these songs are honest prayers, whether prayers for the singer himself or on behalf of the listener. And even though they never mention Jesus by name, it's crystal clear that the heart behind the entire album is one of ministering to the broken. Simply said, it may not take the most musical risks, but it's an album of hope. I give Killers and Thieves 3 rocks out of 5. For the Rock in a Hard Place podcast, I'm Tom Labonte.
All right, Embers and Ashes, good stuff. Now, Tom was concerned about mentioning that it was an independent release because he said they had been on Red Chord in the past.
Yeah,
And
they're not anymore.
But they're not anymore. Do you know why that deal fell apart? Was it just a lack of sales?
It could be, although I maybe this is going to sound mean, and maybe Red Chord Records will never talk to me again after I say this, but I have a hard time imagining that would be exclusively the reason, because most of the Red Chord artists are not ones that I come to mind whenever I'm thinking of successful rock bands or metal bands.
Okay.
So I think that when it comes down to that, I kind of doubt it. I think they just felt like their time had come to part ways, and I think they said that they were still in a good spot with each other, but they just had different ideas of what they wanted to do going forward, and so they parted ways. So I don't know much more than that.
Okay. Well, good deal. Good deal. Alrighty. Well, today, Kirk, who unfortunately is not here with us, it would seem.
Freaking Kirk.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you, man. So he asked us if we would be willing to go over some of the cheesier songs in Christian music, or Christian rock, I should say. If you went Christian music, you could the show would be like 6 hours long, because there's a bunch of cheese out there. So what we're gonna do is we've chosen each some tracks that we think are cheesy. Now, some of these I would say, at least for me, and I don't know what all Paul has chosen, so I'll let you share that in a sec. But the tracks that I chose mostly are cheesy in a good way. Some of them, you may not everybody will agree with that statement. But I think personally that most of mine are cheesy in a good way, save maybe one that's just kind of like, really? So, what about yours, Paul? Are yours cheesy in a good way or cheesy in a bad way?
I think it's a mix of both. Some of them are songs that I like, even though they're cheesy. Some of them are ones I like because they're cheesy. Some of them, and I will also say that not all of them are technically Christian rock tracks. Some of them lean a little bit more towards the contemporary side. And one is very old, but it cracks me up that the song exists. So I had to pull it out, and it's almost more funny than cheesy, but it's priceless. So you'll see a side of an artist that you did not know existed, more than likely. So that will be fun. But I mean, a few of the songs are ones that I'm like, I don't dislike the song. It's not that it's a song that I just, every time I hear it, I go, oh my goodness, this is why people hate Christian music. So I mean, it's not necessarily that. And also, I think, we've talked about this before, but I think everyone's really, really eager to jump on Christian music for one reason or another, either production quality or cheese factor. And it's amazing to me that how quickly people forget about how cheesy mainstream music is too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is so much stuff. I mean, you start talking about songs like Barbie Girl and what's oh man,
just about anything by Britney Spears.
Yeah. Pretty much any mainstream pop song for the most part has a certain amount of cheese to it. And there's just, it's there. I mean, but the problem is I think a lot of us, what we consider cheesy is just very, very predictable and very basic. And unfortunately, that's usually something that almost everyone who's anywhere near that specific genre of music can grab a hold of. So it's not hard to digest as a listener. So I think that a lot of cheese gets popular because it's just like, oh, well, I can really get into that. I can learn these lyrics really quick, or these lyrics are exactly what I would expect to come after this lyric, and stuff like that. And it doesn't require a lot of thought. So that's just my thought.
Totally. All right. Well, that's all good. Let's see. Do you want to play first? You want to
sure
and choose first?
Sure. And this is not really rap. It's not really rock. Well, no, it is rap, but it's a shame that it is. There are a few people who are able to capitalize on cheese. I'm sure his heart's in the right place, but this guy has been able to be cheese in so many different ways. Of course, I'm talking about Carmen, and this is kind of the epitome for me.
Born, he was born to a virgin named Mary on Christmas Day. He bled and he that died on the cross to take sin away. You take him high, you take him low, you take JC wherever you go. Now tell me who? Tell me who's in the house. JC. Tell me who's in the house.
in the house.
Yeah.
JC is in the house. And now here's something that I'm just ashamed to admit. When that song first came out and I saw the music video for it, my first reaction was, all right, Carmen did something good. And I'm like, and now looking back on that, I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? And the music video is so funny because he's wearing kind of this reflective purple hoodie and matching like cargo shorts and these big old army boots and sunglasses, and he's got dance moves and he's got a DJ and everyone's doing, oh man, it's so embarrassing to look at now. But
Carmen was a fantastic showman.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, he knew how to perform and how to entertain. And that's one thing, you know, I respect Carmen for is his ability to entertain. Now, I've heard that Carmen is actually very, very ill.
Yes, he is. He's not expected to live a horrendously long amount of time from this point. But
so we certainly don't want to sound like we're making fun of him in that regard, especially, you know, kicking a man when he's down. But there's definitely a cheese factor in a lot of Carmen's songs that, you know, I appreciate for what they were.
Yeah.
And, you know, mad props to the musician that is Carmen. But you know, we certainly do wish him the best as far as his health is concerned.
Yeah,
he did.
Well, and what cracks me up the most about him is he was able to capitalize, and he can sing.
Yes,
and I mean he can rhyme pretty well.
Yes,
you know, for an older white guy, but he can sing. But what cracks me up is really most of his music that was popular that made him famous was him talking over music.
Yes.
Which is so strange to me, but it worked for him for whatever reason.
Satan Bite the Dust.
And The Champion. And you know.
Lazarus Come Forth.
Right, yeah.
You know, and then he did one with DC Talk that was called Addicted to Jesus.
How have I missed that one?
Are you serious?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, let me see if I can find it right now. Carmen, where are you here? Addicted to Jesus. Okay, let me see if I can toss this in real quick. I think that
I'm about to be schooled.
You'll get a kick out of this one. I'm trying to think of what album it was. It was on the album Addicted to Jesus. Actually, this was like the title track. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I am prepared, bracing myself.
Pizza nut last night. Man, I saw him at Tico Taco, man. Mexican food. He's Italian. Pizza. Spaghetti. Yo, what up, fellas? Yo, what up, yo? What's up, man? Licorici. See my homie. What's up? Hey, have you heard A to J? A to what? I heard about my ABCs. A to J. Come on, G. I heard it. As in, are you A to J? That sound like a hip. Let me take you to school. Give me a J. Yeah. J, you got your J. Give me an E. You know it. E. You got your, give me an S-U-S. Boys, what does it spell? What am I saying? What's going down? Things every day. Television, videos. Yo, what can I say? Shopping till they dropping. Hopping at the mall. Yakking on the phone. Who else should we call? But I stand with the man who made the blind to see. Living large, supercharged. He did something in me. Sure did. Check it out. It's about a total change of mind. Don't wait too late. You may run out of time. Stand tall, stand strong, stand strong, stand loud.
Still never heard it?
Very vaguely remember this. Very vague. What year was that?
91.
Oh, so that was like very beginning of DC Talk's career.
Oh yeah. That was very early on. I think it was after New Thang. I want to say it was around the time of New Thang, or what was the one they did after that? I can't think of the name of it right now. Is the
Free
one?
at Last?
Yes, Free at Last. It was right around those times.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go.
That, you know, I don't even know how to react to that, because if I had heard that song more at the time, I probably would have been all over that.
I was all over that. I mean, I would blast that song constantly.
Wow.
Yeah, Josh Olson says, I'll admit that Addicted to Jesus still gets an occasional play from me. I'm right there with you, man. It's one of those, it's the cheese that we love. You know, I will play it. I won't play it loudly in my car just because I know that other people would look at me and be like, what is wrong with that guy? He is so white right now, it's not even funny. You know, and that's fine. I can hang with that, but it is a fun song to play. And when that album came out and I heard that song, of course, I was such a huge DC Talk fan.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely huge. If they were playing within a 60 to 70 mile radius of me, I would go see them.
Wow.
Huge. So, yeah. I must have seen them in concert 10 times.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
I can't touch that.
I mean, I even went and sat through Michael W. Smith just because DC Talk was the opening act.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and if you say that came out in 91, that would have been in between New Thing and Free at Last. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I figured it was after New Thing because that was kind of where they really started to climb. Was
Right.
New Thing. And then Free at Last pushed them ahead even farther.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once Jesus Freak dropped, it was like, okay, these guys are huge. They're going to be around forever. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, where are you going? You know?
Right.
So Supernatural was a little more experimental for them, and I don't think it hit people as well as they wanted. It was like they kind of started moving away from the rap stuff that made DC Talk really popular and moved into a lot more melodic stuff, which I think favored Michael and Kevin, which is great. But I feel like people wanted more of Toby up front, Michael and Kevin kind of in the back. That's what we grew up with DC Talk as. So I don't think Supernatural really hit them as well as they wanted to. But you know, hopefully they'll get back together and do their thing and make us all swoon again.
Yeah, hopefully they'll do a new thing.
Yeah, a new thing. There you go.
A newer thing.
There you go. An even newer thing. That's funny. Well, one of my favorite cheesy tracks is from a band called DOC, and
nice.
They're actually the full name is Disciples of Christ.
Nice.
And it's a hip hop group that I've enjoyed. Now, this was one of the earliest times I can remember really hearing hip hop and kind of a rock flavor being mixed together. And had I known what I know now, I would have realized that it was going to be a lot more popular than we had, you know, than I had originally thought. I mean, with rapcore being now a major thing, it's definitely taken on a life of its own, a genre of its own. But there were some very early instances. So the Petra song that wasn't actually, it's one of the only songs Petra recorded that wasn't written by Bob Hartman.
Right.
And the song is called God Gave Rock and Roll to You,
which is actually a Kiss song.
Well, it was actually Kiss after it was Petra.
You're kidding.
No, Kiss recorded that song specifically for the movie Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh.
And so it became popular after that. But Petra had that song, I want to say it was on like Beat the System.
Oh, wow.
Which came out long before the Kiss version of the song came out.
Right.
So, but then, so to go back to long titles, the actual title of the track is the Hip Hop Body Slam Hard Rock Holy Spirit Jam / God gave rock and roll to you.
Right. Wow.
So here's DOC with their version of this track. All right, so
Nice. Well, I'm gonna burst a bubble again, and I may still be wrong, but apparently, according to the Wikipedia page, anyway, the song was originally written by a band called Argent.
Okay.
In like 1979. Is that what it says? No, 73.
Okay.
So that may have been the original one. I'm not really sure, because Petra definitely did do it, and it was earlier than when Kiss did it. Because when Kiss did it, it was a reimagining of what they said at least was the Argent version.
Right.
And it was when Petra did it, it was off the Come and Join Us album.
Come and Join Us album. Okay.
And that was 77. So
okay,
it was still a cover for Petra, but man,
yes,
talk about a song that has been reworked by very different bands.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I thought it was so weird. So, my limited experience back in the day when I heard it as a Petra song, I thought, whoa, that's, it was a great song. And then when it's at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and I was like, who in the world did this? And how did they get permission from Bob Hartman? That's what I'm thinking at the time. And so I go and look it up, and I actually had the I think it was on like Petra Means Rock or one of Petra's compilation albums that I'd actually heard it on. And so I went through and looked it up, and I saw that it wasn't even written by Bob Hartman, which was really odd because he wrote like almost every single one of their songs for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then it ended up not being the case. So that was the first experience that I'd heard or that I'd had with what I thought was an original Petra song being covered by, what I thought at the time was the most unlikely to have been Kiss. But then to find out that it wasn't even a Petra song to begin with, that it's like my mind just kind of went, whoa, wait a minute here, what is this?
Yeah. Well, see, and it's funny because for me, that song, the first time I heard it, was that version. The version you just played is the first version I ever heard of it.
Ah, gotcha.
And the music video for it is so funny. Did you ever see the video?
No.
Oh man, DOC is wearing like these matching, reflective, very huge like jogging suits. It makes them look like California raisins.
That was kind of like the MC Hammer days, where it was all the big parachute pants and glitzy clothes and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I love that version. Now here's the weird story about that version, or that particular rendition of that song for me. The Christian rock show that played on the contemporary station that I grew up on had a version of that's different.
Okay.
And I don't know if the DJ there did his own remix of it or what, but there was some slight changes, and I remember the other version being slightly better than the album version, and I've still never found the version that he played. So if anyone ever knows or finds out, email me for where to find the alternate version of that song.
Yeah.
Or Jeff Scott, if by some weird miracle you're listening, tell me where in the world that came from. I mean, seriously.
Help me, please. Help me.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But that was, definitely a little cheesy, but so fun.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Love it. Love it. Well, from around the same time as that, and I'm going to offend probably several of our listeners, and maybe even you, Chris, I don't know. But these guys had a lot of songs that, despite the fact that I like them, were kind of cheesy. And this one, to me, it may not be the worst offender, but it's the one that, to me, is the funniest.
Okay.
Off the debut self-titled album by Audio Adrenaline, it's time to play some PDA.
His love is not infatuation or side effects or complications or lonely times or long vacations. Go without no hesitation. We need to show some PDA. A public display of affection. We need to show some PDA.
Oh yeah. I remember
First
that
time I
song
heard that,
well.
I had to have my brother explain to me what PDA was.
Yeah. They say right in the song, it's a public display of affection.
Yes. but I
Did you
still
not
had
get
to-
that?
Oh, come on. I was like 8. I may have been 9, but it was funny. That was my first, the music video for that was my first exposure to audio adrenaline at all.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now, it's funny. I actually chose a audio adrenaline song as well.
Oh, you did?
I
it's
did.
It was probably the one that I thought about doing at first and then switched to this one, I bet.
Well, I don't know. It's cheesy in its awesomeness. Is what I'm gonna say about this particular song. So,
Okay.
here's Audio Adrenaline's attempt at being a hardcore band.
Oh, not the same one then.
Okay.
Okay.
So here we go.
He's the only God. He loves, he makes, an eternal life he gives. And shook the chains. Now you may think, but only time. Yo! Buddha was a bad man, so what? Muhammad thought he had a plan. Guess not. I hear new God is in old town. You can be a God and do how? I got down the cross. I got down the cross. I got down the cross.
Believe it or not, I don't know if I've actually ever heard that. Is that off the first album?
It is off the first album, yeah.
I've never given that album nearly enough spins. But
Oh
yeah,
my
that is
goodness!
hilarious.
Oh yeah, you gotta go there. That's a good one. And then there's another one that's called DC-10.
Oh yeah, now that one I do remember.
Yeah, if a DC-10 fell on your head and you're buried in the ground all nasty and dead, if a Mack truck ran over you, or you suddenly died in your Sunday pew, and then they go into screaming, do you know where you're gonna go? Do you know where you're gonna go? It's awesome. Just pure awesomeness.
Yeah.
Tim says that he rocked the Hammer Pants back in the day while listening to the cassette tape.
Oh, nice. The cassette what?
Yeah. What's a cassette tape? Oh my goodness!
Those are those things that are on ironic T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Or iPhone cases.
Right.
iPhone cases. Yeah. That's you see a kid with an iPhone case that's a cassette tape and you're like, yeah, I bet you have no idea what those two or what that thing is. I saw a picture the other day on Facebook that was a cassette tape and a number 2 pencil.
Yep.
And it said, who knows what these two things have in common?
Right. Showing your age.
Exactly. I laughed. I'm wondering how many kids saw that and were like, I don't get it.
I don't know what either of those things are.
I don't understand. Where do you click to put the lead out?
Yeah.
Oh man. So Tom says he's Tom says he's in and out of the show this week. What on earth is the topic that warrants these crazy tunes? And it's the cheese factor, Tom. It's the cheese factor. It's all about the cheese today. So cheesy songs that we love or don't, whichever the case may be. So hopefully Tom will be in long enough to hear that statement since there's a bit of a delay. So it's all about the cheese. What do you got next there, Paulie?
Okay, well, man, it's so hard to choose. There's so much of this that is so horrible.
Tell me about it.
This one, okay, I've got to play this one because I've been looking for an excuse to play this, and my wife was like, "This is the excuse you need." So Amy Grant, by the time most of us heard Amy Grant, she was very polished. She had a very kind of straightforward message. It was very pop. It It's very interesting. But the guy who's basically our pastor turned us onto the song a little while ago, and I didn't know it existed. Even though I had the album, I just hadn't listened to it all the way through. And there's a song off the same album that sports El Shaddai.
Oh.
Which should crack you up just a little bit when you hear this one. And it's called Fat Baby.
Because El Shaddai was kind of the one that really, propelled her.
Right. But yet it contains a song called Fat Baby.
All right.
And this is what it sounds like.
He's just a fat little baby. He wants his bottle and he told me, baby. He samples solid foods once or twice, but he says doctrine leaves him cold as ice. He's been baptized, sanctified, redeemed by the blood, but his daily devotions are stuck in the mud. He knows the books of the Bible and John 3:16. He's got the biggest King James you've ever seen.
Wow. It's like she suddenly wanted to move into jazz.
Yeah. But yet the whole song is about Christians who are like overly needy yet holier than thou.
Well, I think
about
it's
all the superficial stuff, and it's so weird.
Well, and it sounds like, he knows he's got a lot of head knowledge, but he hasn't applied it. So it's like he's stuffed himself on everything, but there's no action in the knowledge. That's funny.
The best part about it is when my wife first heard it, she's like, man, I can't believe that Amy Grant would do something that's so borderline sacrilegious. I'm like, sacrilegious? What are you talking about? That makes, I was like, I get it. She goes, well, isn't she calling Jesus a fat little baby? I'm like,
well,
no.
See, I thought that at first. When you told me the title, I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But then as soon as I started listening to the lyrics, I'm like, oh, okay, I get what she's talking about now. So that's funny. Give your wife a little bit of credit there, Paulie.
Right.
You know, because based off the title, that would be the assumption is,
it was after she heard it.
Oh, it was after she'd heard. Oh.
But she could, the first time we heard it, it was played off of a phone. It wasn't, really good speakers.
Yeah.
It was an easy mistake to make. I'm not ragging on her for it. She
totally
makes fun of herself for it, but it's so funny because she was like, oh, good, because that makes me feel a little bit better about it. At first, I thought the whole song was calling Jesus a fat little baby, and I was sure that there was some sort of meaning behind it that I was going to get that would make it seem less bad. But in the moment, I'm just going, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What did Amy Grant do so early in her career?
If I ever get to meet your wife, I'm going to walk up and be singing Fat Little Baby.
Anyway.
Just to get a reaction. I think that'd be hysterical.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, you can't have cheese without a little DC talk, especially back in the early days off of some of their first albums, or their first album especially. That album is pretty much entirely cheese. So It was very difficult to choose a particular track off of that album. But I managed to pull it off, and here's what we've got.
Living day to day, I see the people hear what they have to say. Take a look at the ethics, morals, and goals, making guys out of men that rock and roll. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, this world will fall. A total destruction, destiny.
So that track is called Final Days, and it is off of DC Talk's first album. Like I said, the entire album is cheese. So if you want to get DC Talk's self-titled album, go check it out and just revel in the glory that was the very first album that this mega band ever did. And you will seriously wonder how on earth they ever became popular enough to get a second album.
It was back in the day when sales didn't matter as much, and people weren't as big of a hurry to make a quick buck. Because I think if that album had something of equal quality had dropped today, they would have gotten dropped instantly.
I don't think it would have ever. I don't think they ever would have gotten signed.
Yeah, but
I don't. Yeah, I don't honestly think they would have gotten signed, but there's a lot of great cheese on that album. So if you're looking for a ride down memory lane, That's an album you can throw on and just go, oh my goodness, I need a little bit of sugar in that nastiness.
That was some pepperonis on that mess.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Oh, man. That's
So
great.
I got 2 left. Paul, what do you got?
Oh, I've got a lot.
Do ya?
Now I'll go ahead and do 2 just so I can catch up a little bit.
All right.
This one kind of marked the beginning of the end for me until his last album with this band came out. It was just so cheesy, and the music video was so cheesy, and oh my goodness. Even at the age I was looking at that going, really? You guys did that? But Jeff Moore in the Distance, the Home Run album and the title track, oh my god, totally killed it for me because it was so cheesy.
Gotta keep your eye on the ball, swing straight and true and follow through. Don't be afraid, whatever the call, because we're never alone. Our coach is there to cheer us on. Well, it's the wind up. Here comes the ball. Gotta free and swing. Watch it till it's going. It's gone.
Oh, so cheesy. Oh, it's so cheesy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. Tim says I had to put my headphones in. Such cheesy music wouldn't be heard coming from the Broken FM studio. Just make sure the mic's not on, Tim. That's all you need to worry about. As long as the mic's off, you should be good.
Oh my goodness. Well, now this next one, on the other hand, is to me, strangely enough, a good example of cheese. When this song first came out, I kind of thought it was ingenious in a weird sort of way. But this is more of a contemporary song. But I think it's one of those songs that most everybody I knew loved this song, and they couldn't really explain why. But it's just so goofy. But Chris Rice came out with the cartoon song.
Oh,
and
yes.
You gotta share it. So here we go.
Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, Scooby-Doo-ya, and the Jetsons' dog named Astro. Rah, 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 rah. 'Cause I was thinking the other day, what if cartoons got saved? They start singing praise in a whole new way. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if I should say this, but my wife absolutely loves that song.
It's fun and it's weird. I like it in spite of the cheese, but it's so funny to think that song got recorded. It's such a camp song.
Well, and apparently it was exceedingly popular as well, because can hear the live version of that track there. As soon as he does the Astro voice, everybody's like, "Blah!" You know, and he goes on to talk about the Smurfs and all sorts of different things. It's I don't know. It's a crazy supposition to think about cartoons having souls and needing salvation. And I think
that's
just
the reason why it's weird.
That's where my brain goes, you know.
Don't get me wrong. It occurred to me too, but there's so many things odd about that song in so many ways.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you pointed out that one. That one out.
Oh man. Too funny. Oh
Okay.
goodness.
You need to do another one. My own cheese is getting to me.
Yeah, hear ya. All right. So during his tenure with DC Talk, Toby Mac kind of started this other little album that I think Kevin and Michael ended up doing a song with him on, but that was about the extent of it. And the album was called Erase, and it was put out by the Goatee Brothers. That was considered the band, and I think that's eventually kind of what morphed into Diverse City a little bit. If my history is correct on there. And there's a lot of great tracks on the album, and it's very eclectic as far as its overall sound is concerned. But there's one particular track where they tried to go a little Rasta in a cover of a song, and to me it was a little bit more cheese than I liked. So, well, I'll let you guys be the judge.
Okay.
So why cannot I become friends with you? Wanna be friend me, no, one God and one destiny. Wanna be friend me, no, the only way in unity. Wanna be friend me, no, we must live in harmony. So make me come together in this community. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we?
I just don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, I know, me either. That's why I unmuted my mic and just sat there. I'm like, okay, maybe Paul will say something.
Well, and it's funny because I mean that was around the same time I guess that Christafari had their like 3 seconds of fame in the Christian music community.
Well, apparently Christafari is still really popular because they keep getting invited to Rock of Ages every year.
I think somebody who's booking for Rock of Ages has a thing for Christafari.
Actually, I think what it is Christafari has said we'll play for free for as long as you're willing to book us.
That'll do it.
That's kind of what I get out of it. So
see, and Christafari and the Goatee Brothers, I think I had it. I did have Erase at one point. I think I had it on cassette tape, and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
I wanted to, and I couldn't. But then again, I was hoping it was going to be DC Talk Part 2 with just less singing. That's what I was thinking it was going to be. I'm like, it's got a cool cover. It's Toby Mac. It has to sound like
Well,
I would probably dig it now. But
there's a few tracks on there that I really, really dig. That I feel like it was an experiment more than anything. And I think if you look at it from that perspective, you're able to understand a little more of where everything comes from. But there's a few tracks on there that I really dig, and I'll throw on every once in a while if I want that nostalgia blast in the face. But, as a complete album, I didn't feel like it gelled. I felt like it was too experimental.
Right.
There was just too much eclectic on it to really make it. If you wanted to do it as like a greatest hits album, you could understand it. But nobody had ever heard these songs before, so they couldn't be classified as hits.
Right. Yeah, it makes it hard.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Sometimes an album hits you, and sometimes it doesn't.
Cool. Well, how many do you have left?
I have one left.
Okay, well, I've got 4, so I'll do 2, and then you can do 1, and then I'll do 2. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay, this song, total cheese. Total cheese. It kind of surprises me that these guys ended up, I think they were on BEC, or it may have been Tooth and Nail, one of the two. But this song, when I did my wife and I did a little bit of research trying to look up what other people thought cheesy Christian songs were, and I'd forgotten about this one, but it's pretty bad. It's by the band Cadet. It's called God Man, Jesus is my superhero.
Jesus is my superhero. Once he died for me. I'm his trusty sidekick. We will beat the enemy. God
Yeah. It's God Man. Oh man, so cheesy. And I remember some of their other stuff being okay, but that was just and it's funny because the way they sing that part sounds almost like they were going for kind of a hymnal sound.
Yeah.
But it has really rocking guitars, and I don't know, just so weird. Well, the other clip that I'm going to play for you is also about Christ being a superhero. And this one, I have to thank, make sure I say his name right, Kit Bavette from the 90s Christian Music Recovery Group, because I just posted a post on there on Facebook, and I was like, hey, does anyone have this song? I couldn't find it anywhere online.
Okay.
Like, no YouTube videos, nothing. I think they were from Houston. This was kind of back during the kind of pre-grunge era before it was really cool. But this song, I don't know why, was enormously, maybe it's just because they were a local band, but this song was enormously popular on the local Christian rock show. I could never stand this song. It's forget the fact that it's cheesy. To me, her delivery And I'm sorry ahead of time because I feel like I'm being just insulting. See, I can't even talk. I don't even want to sound insulting, so I can't even pronounce it.
Right.
So, Kit, you sent this to me. If you really, really like this song, I apologize. I hope I didn't lure you into sending me this just to slam anyone who likes this song. But this song, for me, I could never stand it. Her delivery sounds like, to me, she's pouting.
Okay.
And not in a sultry, pouty lips sort of way. More like in a I didn't get my way sort of way. And it's the weirdest song, but it was so big in Houston at the time. So I'm going to play it for you, and you guys can tell me what you think. Here we go. I don't understand what they were going for.
Is that Paramore?
No, it's a band called Animal Couch.
Okay. Never heard of them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they were a Houston band. I think they did get maybe a record contract when their second album came out. And they had a song called Black Sheep that was really good to me. I thought it was really good, but it didn't last nearly as long as that song did.
Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, it just sounds like she's just like had a really good cry as like a toddler. It's like, nobody ever gave his life for me before. And I'm just going, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I mean, forget the fact that, the whole Jesus is my superhero thing is kind of cheesy in and of itself. It's just the song,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No,
if you heard that and you dug it, I'm glad and happy for you, but that song never hit me the right way.
I won't hold it against you if you liked it, but I'll think you're an idiot.
No, I won't think you're an idiot.
Okay.
I don't understand. We don't think the same, and that's okay.
No,
the
exactly.
world spins in one direction for everybody, but some people don't think so.
Yeah.
So anyway,
what's the shirt that Adam from MythBusters wears? I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Right. Yes.
It's that kind of attitude.
Yes.
Well, honestly, I don't think you can have a show about cheesy tunes without throwing in a little Family Force 5. And I will preface this by saying that I love the cheese that is Family Force 5.
Well, that's good. There's a certain amount of cheese that is there, but it's awesome cheese. It's like the best cheesy cheese.
It is. It's the best kind of cheese. I mean, honestly, the song Chainsaw is pretty cheesy, even though it will rock your face off.
Right. Yeah.
And when we had what was it, Fatty? When we had him on, he said people keep asking us what's the spiritual significance of Chainsaw, and he's like, there is no spiritual significance to that song whatsoever. He said basically we will be riding in the bus and somebody will throw out a random phrase. And then we will know, yes, we need to write a song about that.
Right.
And so that's where all that came from. So, but this is off of one of their early albums. And, I'll let the song speak for itself.
Say to you, I found a way to fight one love for all mankind. We're gonna take control. Dance against your weapon, let your moves unfold. Kill them with your step and we can win this war. It's time to come together. Now we're stronger than we were before. Try to take our lives. Try to take our lives. We will survive. We will survive. Running out of the world ends tonight. Let's dance or die. Dance or
Ah, yes, we will dance or die.
Well, it is off of a concept album about an intergalactic, space mission where they have to dance or die. I mean, I don't see how that could possibly turn into anything cheesy.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, like I said, I love Family Force 5, but the cheese factor on that particular song was a little over the top for me. I will still play it. I will still bump it in my car, and I will even do it with the windows down. But but it's a fun song. You know what I should have dug up there's a guy out there by the name of T Busy who has a song called Tortilla Chips.
Nice.
And I don't know if you've ever heard Tortilla Chips. It's insanely long.
Right.
But it is the craziest song that I have ever heard, and it is just random as random can possibly be.
Well, dude, you have inspired me with that. Now I have a third clip, and it's already ready to go because it was one that I was going to play on our hip-hop episode. But since you brought up Cheese Factor and Tortilla Chips, I have to play this. And it's probably well, I don't know if he still considers himself a Christian rap artist or not. I think there's been some kind of weirdness with that, and I don't know exactly where he stands now. But at the time, at least, he was the only American Indian rap artist that claimed Christianity, and he came up with this song, which I think is so funny. And they even did a music video that got endorsed by the product. It's Red Cloud, and the song is called Tapatio.
Freedom of speech, so I'ma say what I mean, and I'ma mean what I say without fleeing the scene. We in the scene to bring a beautiful thing, to sing a musical lyric to the road and the mean. I'm truly the king of the town, a purest of breed. Get out on the dance floor, hands up for me. We keep it hot, how hot? So hot you can fry. How hot? Hotter than your front porch in July. How hot? Real hot, 102. The devil wouldn't want to stand next to you. We got that tapatio, tapatio, tapatio.
Yes, they got the Tapatio.
So Red Cloud, a couple of years ago, I know on the hip hop show that we play on Saturdays by the one and only Chris Chicago. It's called Hype Radio, and if you guys that listen, if you're into hip hop at all, you want to check out Chris Chicago's show. It is beautifully produced. He plays a lot of great hip hop selections. He does a lot of artist interviews with hip hop stuff. So, if that is what you are into, be sure to check that show out. But he did an interview or played an interview that had been done with Red Cloud, and Red Cloud hit a little bit of controversy because I guess there were some drugs involved in some of the stuff he was doing, and he admitted openly to smoking pot sometimes and didn't feel like there was any issue with that as far as his testimony or his music or anything along those lines. So I think that was kind of the beginning of the end of his Christian hip-hop career.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you just you can't get over very easily when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that's the little bit that I know about the whole Red Cloud incident.
Well, thank you, because I didn't know that. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
I found Tortilla Chips too. So at some point,
play it.
Are you sure? It's a long song. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll play some of it. So this is T Busy's Tortilla Chips, and Tim will probably remember this one because we bumped this in the Broken FM studios a few times.
Oh yeah.
Silly, holla at your boy when there's net about a milli. Ink spill oil on your soil. Demons cringe and serpents coil. Sorry, look, your plans got foiled. How you like your eggs on me, scrambled or boiled? Oh boy, oh, singer, chimichanga. Back in the days like Harriet and Chanza. Chicks dig my beat beats. We yell charge, y'all best retreat. Little limit, wanna scrimmage, better grab some cleats. Won't cuss you out, but I'll just say bleed like apple. Apple, salt of the earth, shaker like a salt shaker. Sugar twin code name got Pat Baker. Add a little pepper for the lepers as you go. You feel it run for the hills.
I like tortilla chips. I really like tortilla chips. The way they crunch, the way they dip. I really like tortilla chips. Dad, I like tortilla chips. I really like tortilla chips. Doritos, Fritos, take your pick. I really like tortilla chips.
busy in the gang, taking over like a flu. We crush yo, we smash yo, we make it swing like castles. Got business deals, don't hassle me.
Tortilla
Homie,
chips.
me,
T Busy.
me, filthy rich like
It just continues to go. It's like a 4.5 minute track. And it's filled with awesome nonsense. It's definitely, I can send that to you, Paul, if you want to hear the whole thing sometime.
Yes, I think that is most definitely necessary.
Tim says this song played a few times on Broken FM, but somehow didn't make it on the new system.
Oh, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
You guys are slackers.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. So that was a very small portion of T Busy's tortilla chips. Check it out find it online if you want to. That sounds like it could be a brand name, doesn't it? Enjoy T Busy's tortilla chips at a store near you.
Tortilla chips. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and finish up your last two tracks.
Okay, well, this last one, the next to last one, I almost feel guilty because they're a fairly new band. And I don't know if they were trying to be funny or not. I don't think they were, but the cheese factor is definitely here. And I played this for Chris one time, and he didn't quite know what to make of it either. And it features as a guest artist, legendary old school hip hop artist Curtis Blow. And it's by a band called Bride Dressed in Black. And it features dual lead singers, one of them male and one of them female. And I got sent this track, and I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or rewind back to like 1992.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I'm gonna let you guys hear it before I come off sounding too harsh. Afterwards, I know I won't sound harsh, but before it might sound harsh. So here we go.
On a mission, now let's go. No turning back now. Spit it from get-go. Flopping the tracks now. I spit it, I give it. I live it just how I spit it. Ballin' for real. Living so sick with it. Hip rock is hard. It ain't for no punks. It'll make you head bang or blow out the trunk. You can start a mosh pit in the front. What's up? But when them guitars hit, you better jump out. It's hip rock. It's rock. I think it's rock.
Aha. Now that is just a small chunk of the chorus. It does go, it's hip rock, rock, hip rock about 6 more times. So it doesn't help sell it very much. And the Curtis Blow verse that he does is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But and I would like to hear the rest of their stuff because I think they've got talent, but it was hard to figure out if they were just trying to make the rhyming stuff that they did themselves apart from Curtis Blow, if they were trying to make it sound old school so it didn't make him look dated.
Right.
Or if they genuinely think that it's still cool. I'm not really sure.
When you hear choruses like that are just the same thing over and over again, it reminds me of those radio stations that feel the need to put in the little sweepers, like layer station sweepers, 12 deep.
Yeah.
We had one in San Francisco that was KITS. It was K. Yeah. Let's see. They called themselves K Hits, but it was like KITS, and that's all you would hear in between all the songs. KITS, KITS, and then KITS. It was like 20 minutes of KITS. It's like, gee, I wonder what station I might actually be listening to. I can't quite figure it out yet. There's that point of branding where you just go, okay, I think that's a little too much.
You're hammering a dead horse here.
Yeah, exactly. If people don't know what they're listening to by now,
there is no hope for you. It is over.
Exactly. So, yep, that reminds me of that.
Well, my last cheese of the show is one that I actually discovered this morning when I was looking. I was like, you know what? I know there's cheesy Newsboys stuff, and I know Love, Liberty, Disco is the obvious choice.
Yes.
But I don't want to be obvious. So I went all the way back to, I believe, their second album called Boys Will Be Boys. Now, this is before they got popular. This is before Can't Get You Out of My System, Shine, even their cover of Boycott Hell. It was before all of that when they were trying to make it big. And there is the original version of the song, Taste and See, is pretty cheesy. The remix of this song makes you wonder much like DC Talk, how in the world did they ever transcend this and become the huge thing that they are now? I can't intro it any better than that. So here we go. This is the remix of Taste and See off Boys Will Be Boys. Here we go.
Okay.
Telling you, newsboys are here in effect with the word of God, so you better check us out. We're Christians, you know what I mean? Full busting a rap with the Holy Ghost scene. Throwing down the truth as a matter of fact. We do it with style, we do it with tact.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. Taste and see He's so
Move your feet to the smooth, smooth beat.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. Taste and see He's so good for you.
You never knew that John James busted a rap back in the day, did you?
I did not. I did not at all.
Move your feet to the smooth, smooth beat.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice
And
little
I
Aussie rap.
didn't have the whole thing. Well, I'm going to play another little clip from the beginning of that song, just because you have to hear him say the most cliche dance term / hip hop term of the day right at the beginning of this. And it's so funny to hear it coming out of John James's mouth, but I got to play it. I can't get away without playing it. So here we go. It's going to have a little intro here for a second, though.
Obviously.
Yes, because all good dance tracks do.
Right. Gives us something to talk over.
Right. All right, here we go.
You want this party started, right? You want this party started quickly.
I love it. I love it. And that's a little, what is that? Is that CNC Music Factory or
I think so.
something along those lines? Oh, man.
Y'all want this party started, right?
Yeah. No, he doesn't sound Australian at all.
Maybe at the time, maybe CNC Music Factory hadn't made it into Australia yet.
Yeah, or it had, and they thought, oh, we'll just borrow this.
But I couldn't think of a better way to end with that. It's just, it's so ultimately cheesy.
Oh, that is fantastic. Paul, you better be good. Your wife's in the chat room now.
Oh my goodness. Hello, honey. I love you. It was our anniversary yesterday. So we went out and did dinner and all that good stuff. We went thrift store shopping because that's kind of our thing. And
I saw your post, 9 years.
I know.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So it's been fun. So
my Sarah and I celebrate 14 this June. It's crazy. Crazy.
Thanks, Sarah.
Paul is the cheesy ball. Yes, yes. I've known Paul long enough, Sarah, to where I figured that one out on my own. But thanks for confirming.
See, now this is dangerous. If this is going to start becoming a regular thing, then I'm going to have to be very careful.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We will now see Paul on his best behavior. No more belching and no more calling things musical poop.
Never again. Never again, honey. Never again.
That's right. Let's see here. What do we got next?
Well, we can
The Rock in a Hot Place podcast presents
the one and the only.
All right, boys and girls, get ready for
The Stew.
All right. Tell us the stew, Paul.
Okay, so simply put, you're going to hear 3 song clips and 2 movie clips. The 3 song clips all come from different songs. The movie clips come from the same movie. And, well, here's the thing. There is somewhat of a similar theme as to last time. So there is a theme that kind of connects them. But it's still kind of vague. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's one of those things where once you get all the pieces, it makes total sense. But I don't know if thinking about there being a theme, if that will help you that much. So
okay. Well, last time you told me there was a theme, but you had to know like the album that one of the songs came off of in order to really understand what the theme was, which I think is slightly unfair.
Well, this one, well, it was because it was a remix. You had to know the name of the remix to totally get the theme. Nothing is quite that hard to get this time around.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the only thing we can do is give it a shot and just see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, that's funny. I just got a tweet from Twitter saying, @BrokenFM, are you following Broken FM on Twitter? Oh, I guess, you know what? Tim probably tweeted that. I thought this was a
A notification.
Yeah, instead of a notification.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, did you see this? Sarah says Paul's not good at themes. And then she said I was right that it was a little unfair and too obscure, and she told you so much. She told you as much. So this is going to be fun having her in the chat room. I think I'm going to like this.
I'm beginning to hate this already.
Yeah. Luckily, my wife is normally sleeping while I'm doing my recording, so there's no danger of her actually stepping in and listening and watching. So I'm safer than you on this one. Well, let's go ahead and let's play the stew, and let's see if I can figure out what it is that you've got going on here. All right?
All right, go for it.
A peek in the mirror and my past is gone. I'm feeling free as a bird with a new song.
I was wondering when you was gonna wake up.
As you put the pedal down, let it live you up wow.
This is not good for my image.
Car, you hear that boom bap, and you hear some dudes rap. It ain't them folks that boast, it's folks that tell you where the truth.
Well.
Okay. So the first track I didn't get.
Okay.
The second track I believe is White Heart.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I know you're not. Yep. I know you're not. And the last thing is the track 3 was Wild Things, or Where the Wild Things Are, by Andy Mineo.
No, it isn't.
What?
No, it isn't.
All right.
I picked the song because I know it's a song that you love.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and play it again.
Okay, all right, go for it.
All right.
A peek in the mirror and my past is gone. I'm feeling free as a bird with a new song.
I was wondering when you was gonna wake up.
As you put the pedal down, let it live you up wow.
This is not good for my image.
Car, you hear that boom bap, and you hear some dudes rap. It ain't them folks that boast, it's folks that tell you where the truth.
Okay, so no, you're right about that, about track 3.
Well, I know I'm right. I made it.
Well,
you're not giving me anything here.
Oh my goodness. What is that now? I'm like, okay, I know it, but I don't know it. It's like it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Well, what about the movie? Do you have
the movie's Cars.
Oh, very good, very good. See,
So-
I figured as a dad, you would have no choice but to know what it was.
Even if I weren't a dad, I would know what that is.
Good. Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss Mater, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. Let me see. Okay, so I'm positive that track 2 is White Heart, but I don't know what song.
Okay, now keep in mind there's a theme here, and it's not obtuse. It's pretty easy.
Okay, so Tim thinks he knows the theme.
Right.
Oh,
and don't
okay.
forget-
So Jesus Music is the
Oh, okay, yes.
is track 3. Jesus Music, that's Lecrae, right?
Very good, very
Okay.
good.
Okay, so Jesus Music. I know he spells it funnier than I'm spelling it.
Right, yeah.
Muzik, I think, by Lecrae. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the first track I'm still having a trouble with. So I'm going to play the longer version of the first track that you
Now it will give it away.
Oh, it will.
Oh, definitely. I made sure that there's a chunk of the chorus in there.
Okay.
If it doesn't give it away, I'm going to have a hard time calling you my friend.
All right. Hopefully I'll get this. So this is song 1 by itself, not mixed in with the stew, okay? So just so that everybody understands.
And it's a longer...
In the mirror and my past is gone. I'm feeling free as a bird with a new song. I need to get away car. I gotta get out of here fast and far.
Okay, I honestly don't know what that is.
Oh my goodness! You serious? Play it again. Play it again.
Take a peek in the mirror and my past is gone. I'm feeling free as a bird with a new song. I need to get away car. I gotta get out of here fast and far.
I mean, it sounds like Toby Mac.
Okay.
But I haven't listened to a lot of Toby Mac solo stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he even played this when you saw him in concert.
So I need to say I didn't stay for the whole show for one.
Okay. The name of the song is in the chorus. And it relates to a theme that you probably have already figured out.
Well, the theme is like driving in a car or something along those lines.
Yeah, close enough.
But I don't I don't know the first track. I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry.
It's called Getaway Car. It's by Toby Mac. It's off of Welcome to Diverse Cities, so the second album.
Okay.
Now, do you know the name of the middle track?
The name of the middle track?
I mean, I'll give it to you as credit because you know it's Whiteheart. That to me would have been the harder part. Does Whiteheart have a song that relates to the theme?
Well, that may be. Is it off of Tales of Wonder or Powerhouse?
I don't know. I think it's a Rick Florian led.
It is Rick Florian.
Yeah.
That's how I could tell that it was Whiteheart because he didn't really do much solo stuff.
Right.
So I could tell that it was Rick Florian's Whiteheart.
Oh, okay.
Well,
you want to play the longer clip of that? That might help you.
Sure, I'll play that here. God Made Convertibles by Whiteheart.
Yeah. Although technically it's just convertibles, but I would have called it God Made Convertibles too, but
And then Jesus Music by Lecrae, and it's driving around or in cars or listening to music in cars or whatever the case may be.
But that's an easier theme to get than the last one though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes. Well, once I kind of figured out part of that, it made a little more sense, but
right.
I mean, you're stumping me pretty well, which I think is good because I don't want it to be like super easy,
right?
But at the same time, I also don't want to have to do mental gymnastics to figure it out.
Well, see, I was struggling to find a part of Jesus music that didn't necessarily just scream, hello, this is Jesus Music by Lecrae.
Right. No, totally. It's funny. Your wife said easy theme like traveling to another dimension and speaking French.
That's next week.
Yeah. Not so something a little less obtuse,
Yes.
That's
you need to be you, but a better you. You know, like something more interesting, like a blind albino with a goatee.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I'm pretty sure my wife is the only person who could possibly get that reference, but that's okay.
Well, I think that is going to do it for us for this.
No, it doesn't, or people are going to jump on me.
What? Oh, right. We need to do your what did you find on Noistrade?
Right, because if I don't, then whoever it was that was grumping at me last week for not doing it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll run through these real quick. I've got two. One of them's for an entire album, which you can now grab the, I believe it's Frequency by Satellites and Sirens. You can grab the entire album off of Noistrade. They're doing it to help hype their Kickstarter campaign, which they do need help with because they're nowhere near their goal, and they really need to be able to raise that money so they can pay back people who have already made the album. So,
right.
We don't need them to start off in debt. But anyway, it includes a bunch of great tracks, and this is a little clip from one of them. It's called Runaway.
So I swing to the right and dodge my anger. This fight is gonna end on the floor. I lean to the left and find no exit, and I don't wanna fight anymore. And I don't know why I'm running away. Time after time, I'm running away.
So there you go, Runaway, the first track off of Frequency by Satellites and Sirens, which if you go to noistrade.com, you must search for it. Either just search for Satellites. That's the easiest way, because if you type out the word and it won't pull up anything.
Gotcha.
Because it's the little ampersand thingy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's that one, but then there's also a new single by KB featuring Andy Mineo, speaking, since we brought up Wild Things and all that kind of stuff, called 100. And it is pretty cool, I gotta say, but I'll let you hear it. Here you go.
I ain't eating much when I'm smiling. I'd rather be in the jungle in the will of God than anywhere else outside it. For I'm blowing. I'm in this life, but my hope ain't in this life. A good career book for years, a book and peers, a good look. Just won't suffice, but homie, my life is hidden in Christ. My life is hidden in Christ. Give me 99 problems plus one Godhead. The result is all I really know is 100. Nothing left. 100. Till nothing left. All I really know is 100.
100 by KB featuring Andy Mineo. You can grab that track, which is the title track off of his upcoming release on Reach Records, I believe. But you can grab that for free, or you can leave them, or you can leave Satellites and Sirens or KB a tip if you like, which is always encouraged. And good stuff for free on noistrade.com.
Yeah, very cool. What I should have you do, Paul, is actually shoot me the links to those, and I can put them in the show notes. And that way, when people go and download the when people go and download the episode, they can look in the show notes and have links to go directly to those tracks and check that stuff out.
Yes,
So,
that you should.
That would be good. That would be good.
It'd be good. It'd be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool.
So, all right, awesome. Let me see. If you want to get a hold of us, there are a few ways that you can do it. You can check us out online at rockinahardplacepodcast.com. We also have a Facebook page that is facebook.com/rockinahardplacepodcast. You can see how it's spelled right there. If you're listening, obviously you've managed to find it somehow, so you can see how it is spelled and look us up at those various areas. You can email us, rockinahardplacepodcast.com. No, rockinahardplacepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
That would be the one
Yeah.
to email us.
The right one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. rockinahardplacepodcast@gmail.com. If you have suggestions that you would like to give to us for, what you want us to talk about or anything along those lines, those are the ways to be able to get those suggestions to us so that we can take a look at them. And this suggestion actually this week was suggested by Kirk. And he wasn't here today, which I was a little disappointed. But at least he'll be able to download and listen to the topic. But he suggested it in our Facebook page, and we definitely, with the crazy week that I've had this week, it was a nice, easy, simple topic to be able to throw together at the last minute and all of that stuff. So.
Yeah, because we never do that otherwise.
Well, no, but this is an easy. I mean, there's some other topics we think of last minute, but it's like, yeah, that's way more work than I have the patience to deal with at this point. So, this was just a nice, easy suggestion that we were able to take care of and throw together and make it happen. So we're thankful to Kirk for giving us this suggestion. We love it greatly. And man, I guess that's about it, eh?
Yeah, well, of course, before we forget this week, we also have to thank real quick Scientist for making our theme that brings us into the show and takes us out. Love you guys. Thank you so much for hooking us up with that. It's a great tune, and we dearly love having a custom intro for the show.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Well, I guess there's just one thing left to say, and that would be I am Chris Cooner.
And I am Paul Gibson, or at least so I hear.
That's right. And we'll see you next week. All right, Paul, and we can stop now.
Yay! Just under an hour and a half.
Yeah.